out the Bravo side. We will be on an offensive attack. This will be Zulu Command. Let's start a second alarm.
It was almost like his entire lecture was about how he hated the phrase "everyone goes home."
Oh, why?
Because I don't know, he was from like FDNY, and he had a bunch of homies that died. Obviously. But we were talking afterwards. We're like, I feel like he's thinking about it in a different way than I think about it. Like he's thinking about it as like it's a statement that everybody goes home.
Sure.
Obviously, that's not true.
Right.
But I think of it as like that should be your mentality. It's like we're going to do everything we can so everybody does go home.
Yeah. Like you're not blowing it out of proportion, or you're not selling yourself any false realities.
Yeah.
Well, I think he was trying to be an extremist, like push like very far on one side because there's a whole argument about just using it as an excuse. Like everyone goes home, so we don't search the interior. We go defensive on every fire. We don't vent the roof. And so I think he was like, well, that's what's being preached, so I'm going to go 1,000% this other side. Like, not everyone fucking goes home, you know?
Well, plus, like, for that training, that whole lecture series set up being aggressive and that mentality for the training that we were doing. So I think kind of what you were saying, Drew, he was going 1,000 miles an hour the other side just to kind of make the point that we do everything we can within reason, safely and effectively, but we could be aggressive and still, you know, complete the objective that we're looking for. And that includes for us, we were talking, we're going home. Like, my family doesn't want me to die. You know, he was making the points like, they've been to funerals, my kids know it's a possibility, my wife knows it's a possibility, and I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, so do mine, but I'm still coming home the best that I can. You know?
Yeah. I make it a point, like, for me, myself, it's, no, I'm going home. Like, this, I'm not fucking dying here.
Yeah. No. Well, you made a point to me a long time ago, and it stuck with me. You said, like, I think it was when you were done with SWAT. You were like, I'm not doing something for no reason where someone else is going to be raising my kids.
Yeah.
You know, like, no,
yeah.
I'm raising my kids. I'm coming home, you know, but I'm going to take risks, you know, what do they say? Like, big risk, big reward type thing, right? You risk a lot to save a lot.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to do something stupid to make sure that I can say that I searched this room aggressively. Well, if that room is flashed, like, I'm not going in there, obviously, right? I'm going to come home.
I think that's a difference too, though, where we work, right?
Yeah.
Very, very suburban compared to someone who's spent his entire career FDNY. I mean, in apartment buildings, like unit after unit after unit, and like you have to clear a whole fucking building.
Right.
That's your risk is a lot higher in places like that compared to what we face. We show up and usually everybody's out and we're like, oh, what's that? Hoarder house? I'm not going to bother going in and fucking searching this fucking thing, you know?
Yeah, but his point was you can. Like, you can read these rooms that look like they're fully involved or they're untenable spaces, and you can still, I mean, within 3 feet of the ground, the temperatures, we can get into that later, but his point was that you can still be aggressive in conditions that look like you shouldn't be aggressive in. And that resonated with me, and his lens is much different because he was on Squad 1, I think, at the time when 9/11 happened. He was just off duty.
Oh, yeah.
Is what he made it sound like. So he went through all that, and he's had a lot of guys, you know, brothers and sisters, you know, die over the years, and his family has been to all those funerals. So it is a real situation to them. Our lens is a little bit different, and I think he was kind of prefacing what the rest of the training, you know, was going to entail. So
yeah,
definitely eye-opening though on aggressive fire tactics, like which we can get into later. But I mean, that was motivating to me, kind of a different scope.
Nice. Well, yeah, I mean, while we're at it, because we just kind of rolled into it. Thanks for coming, guys. So I'm Nick, and I got Shane, who's been here before, right here to my right, Shane Andreen, and then to his right we got Kyle and Drew, Kyle Bavasi and Drew Griffin. You guys want to just introduce yourselves? Kyle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, my name's Kyle Bavasi. I came from San Diego. I got my EMT in 2009, started working, doing like interfacility BLS transports, and that was not that fun. But made a lot of connections, and that led me to getting a flight medic job, doing international fixed-wing transports and stuff like that down from Cabo, Costa Rica. At the same time, I was working as a private medic that was contracted by CAL FIRE in the rural area. And while I was doing that too, I was working as a reserve firefighter in that same battalion with the same crews. So when I was working with Mercy as the private transport medic, I was still with the crews that I was working as fire. And my supervisor with Mercy was cool with whatever the fire guys are willing to let you do, you can do. So I was essentially working 72 hours. I just get off duty from my medic job and put on a different hat. But my responsibilities stayed the same. So it was pretty much 72 hours a week for, man, that was almost 4 or 5 years. So I got a lot of good rural paramedic experience and some good fire experience. And then I worked for Cal Fire doing a TAU contract, which is a temporary contract when they need people. So I did some time there and then came out to Utah and started working for a municipality out here and never looked back. It's been about 5 years that I've been out here.
How's that work in California? Because it's through their pension, like Cal Fire and the departments. Everything's through CalPERS, the pension system for California?
Yeah, Cal Fire was a CalPERS system. As a reserve firefighter, you don't have those benefits. As a private contracted medic, you don't have those benefits. You get like medical and you got a 401k, but it's not the same. A lot of departments out there, some are on the CalPERS system, some are on their local government system. So it all just kind of depends. But Cal Fire had a pretty good pension. Like I said, I was only there for a short time, and then I came out here. So it was I did that as a means to an end. I got a lot of good experience out there. I knew I wasn't going to be there forever to really reap the benefits of that CalPERS system. But man, they got, I think at the time it was 2.7 for every year you were there. You could retire at 57. The first 10 years you were there. After 10 years, you're vested, so you get medical paid for the rest of your life. At 20 years, you get your whole family's medical paid until you hit 65 or they hit 26. So it's good, but you're working, 20 days, 22 days on average a month.
Yeah.
Because it's a state agency, so they don't hire new guys until the whole state needs them. Which is why my contract was TAU, because I was in Monte Vista, which is San Diego, and we had a lot of guys leave for different departments, but the whole state didn't need to hire, so they just put a temporary contract down in San Diego, which they're usually about 9 months, I think, but they can get extended.
So they just use those temporary contracts to fill the voids, basically,
until the state hires.
That's wild. But are most of the municipal departments down there they do CalPERS as well, right?
Some of them do, I think, but not. I don't think all of them do.
Oh.
Yeah, like San Diego City, I don't think they were on CalPERS. I think their local government's getting a lot better for them. But I think at the time it wasn't the best retirement system. Yeah. They weren't paying a whole lot. There was a lot of turnover. It seemed like it was a stepping stone department. I think they're changing that. I don't want to plug them too bad. So maybe we'll edit that out on the podcast.
No, I mean, not at all. It's interesting, right? Because everybody's trying to find the good system and a good place to work. When I was down there going to school, it was very well known, because I was going to Palomar through their program, and it was very well known that if you wanted to work in San Diego County, you weren't going to make a lot of money, but you were going to work for smaller departments, which means you knew the people you were with for 20 years or whatever. But if you wanted to make money, everybody knew you went to Orange County, LA County, and you'd make bank. I mean, I knew guys their first year as a firefighter in LA County making six figures.
Yeah. They do make a good amount of money. It's a lot of overtime, right?
Yeah.
But there was a JPA down there, which was, the beach cities like Encinitas, Carlsbad, Oceanside, what was it, Del Mar, I want to say Solana Beach, Poway might have been on there. I don't know, it was like 6 or 7 departments, but they had a JPA test. It was essentially like a CPAP, but they had a written test before, and it was only open to medics, which is why a lot of people in San Diego, Southern California, get their medic, because you kind of got to have that to get hired, right?
Yeah, that's what they told me.
If you get your medic, you can take this JPA test, which is a written test. If you pass that, it's pretty difficult. You get to take the CPAT, essentially, is what it was. A little bit more difficult, but if you pass that test, you get on a list that all 6 or 7 of these departments hire from, and those are the departments you want to work for, because you're getting paid all right. A lot of them have retirement that you can work with, and Oceanside, they still burn. But you're not necessarily running 15, 16 transports every day.
Yeah.
So you get a little bit of sleep.
That's good.
Yeah.
So what brought you to Utah?
My wife is from Park City, right? And it was just kind of the writing on the wall. It was getting a lot more impacted out there. Prices of living were going up. The cost of living was going up. I was living in a 650 square foot shack, but it was on the beach, so I can't. But it was more than my mortgages now, right?
Yeah,
and
100%.
Her whole family's still out here. We had a lot bigger support system for the family that we had planned on raising. My parents are retiring, so they can travel a little bit easier. It just made more sense for us, and I figured with the resume I had and the experience, I would get picked up somewhere. I just didn't know.
Did you just like test everywhere out here?
I got lucky.
Were you like, where we are is where I want to be?
No,
this is the first one that showed up on the email
list. It was
list.
the first one. I had no clue who the players were. I knew Salt Lake City, and
Yeah.
I had tested with them a couple years before and got on their list. We just weren't ready to move. But when we moved out here, I don't know, it was a few months before, my wife sent me a job posting like an hour and a half before it closed. So I went off out of service while I was on duty and filled it out and sent it in, and I got picked up with them. Moved out here August 5th of 2018, and we started camp. What was it, October 18th, something like that, a few months later.
Yeah.
So it was just perfect timing. It all worked out.
Nice. I didn't know you flew too.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, that was a
I
paid
didn't know
call.
you fit in a helicopter.
It was a fixed wing. It was with Airvac International.
Did you hit your head on the ceiling every day?
Yeah, it was a dual prop King Air, and they were not comfortable. I think I've told you guys this story before, but I left, 2013, I think, to go to my first full-time fire academy. I couldn't work with them anymore. It was because it was paid call, and it wasn't my primary means of income. So I left, and then, I don't know, a month into my academy, I got an email from them that plane went down and lost everybody. So at that point, and riding in King Airs, the Cabo for hours on end with a bariatric patient coming back it's not a fun experience. And, being 6'5", it's hard to fit into those things as it is. So
Damn.
it was a good experience. It was paid call. We just had to be to the airbase within an hour, and we were out. So,
Damn.
yeah, it was cool.
Drew, what about you?
I'm Drew Griffin, 5'10", 200 pounds, bench 335, enjoy long walks on the beach. I got hired same time as these guys, as Shane and Kyle, 2018, with the department that we're at now. I didn't come from a decorated background of fire and EMS like our boy Kyle. Honestly, I grew up in Utah. I lived here my whole life. I kind of started in Salt Lake, and then around junior high, I moved up to the north side to O-Town, and I've been there ever since. Really was into more sports growing up, team shit. I played football through high school, dabbled in it in college before it just didn't work out, and I kind of was like, well, what do I do now? I stopped playing football. I went through a pretty gnarly, honestly, depression for a couple of years, trying to figure out who am I now that I'm not a football player and I don't have football friends anymore. What am I going to do with my life? Because that was all I really cared about doing, was playing football, and I could give a shit less about what I was going to school for. I went from 4.0 high achieving student to literally flunking out of 3 semesters of school. I just kept signing up for full-time classes and then just fucking getting Fs or just not showing up after 3 weeks, just racking up student loan debt. And I was like, what do I want to do? I was like, I'm going to be a physical therapist, which is just a football player's idea of still being involved with football, right? But going to school for it. And I was like, shit, I don't want to tape ankles the rest of my life. It seems shitty, and kind of jumped around. And then eventually I was like, you know what? I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to keep wasting my time with school, and I need to figure my shit out. So I turned 21, and I was like, well, I'm going to make some money. So I went and worked in a restaurant, Sonora Grill, shout out. Yeah. Best Mexican restaurant in Utah. Fuck Blue Iguana, Red Iguana, whatever you are. I started working there when I was 21, and I made good money, easy money, a lot of fun, met a lot of good people. And I moved up really fast. I became a manager in a year. And I think, honestly, just showing initiative gets you moved up in a lot of restaurants. But I definitely did really well at it. And I was really into that for a while, progressing. And then one night I was working there, and I had my phone. And you know how your phone can track your steps and shit and how many miles you did? Yeah. Well, I finished my shift, and I looked at my phone, and it said I did 15 and a half miles in literally a little circle in a restaurant. And I sat there and I was like, man, am I going to spend 15 miles every single day in this building for the rest of my life? Is that what my life's going to be? And I just kind of was like, that sucks. I don't want to be stuck there. And then there's a few people in my life that were definitely like big influences. Dave Ballard was one of them. He's one of my best friends. He was a firefighter in Pasco County, Florida for 7 years before he moved out here kind of for family stuff too. And he worked with me in the restaurant actually. And a couple other guys. And I just kind of kept thinking like, what the hell am I going to do with my life? And one day my buddy Dave was like, dude, why don't you become a fireman? Like that seems like right up your alley. And I was like, yeah, dude. I was like, I could wear one of those fire shirts around at the gym and like probably get some chicks. And like that was like literally my thought process. And I was like, that seems cool. And then another guy showed up in my life. Derek Martinez is a brother of a relationship that I was in, and he actually is on base. He's a captain for Air Force Base, and was a really good dude and was a firefighter too. And he's like, yeah, dude, you should really hop into this. Like, I think you'd like it. And then I was at the gym, and a captain came up to me from Ogden Fire. His name's Rich King, and dude I really look up to a lot, and he's actually retiring this year in July after 35 years, I think. And he came up to me and was like, yeah, dude, do you want to be a firefighter? And I was like, I used to just talk with him and bullshit at the gym. And I was like, man, there's like 3 people in the last like couple months that have put this in my ear. And I was never one of those kids that like grew up like wanting to be a firefighter and thinking that was awesome. I just was like, okay. And I was like, yeah, dude, well, what do I do? And he's like, well, you got to go get your EMT. I was like, okay, sick. And I went and did my EMT, and it's the first time I'd gone back to school since I'd flunked out. I had to like get on like this, like I had to go talk to an advisor, and the advisor was like, what the hell happened? Like you went from 4.0, like honor student, dean's list, to like not finishing a single class for almost a year and a half. And I was like, I don't know. I just sucked at life. And I had to sign a paper that said I'd like finish this class, and I had to pay 100% cash up front. They wouldn't let me take out any student loans anymore because they were like, dude, you're a lost cause. So I was like, okay, here's cash. I'll pay for it. Paid for my EMT, and I've just fucking loved it. Like, it was really hard. I enjoyed everything about it. I went and did a ride along at Ogden Fire, and it ended up being that same captain that came up to me in the gym just happened to be the captain of that crew that I worked with. And I was supposed to do a 12, and he was like, why don't you do a 24? And I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, I want to do it. And I had so much friggin' fun, dude. Like, we ran a fire. I remember there was some like site call, and like back now we probably go on those calls and they're like completely stupid, but to me I was like, this is the shit. I remember we did like an inter-facility transport with like a psych patient from Ogden down to LDS, and I had so much fun, dude. Like just joking around with these guys, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do with my life. And I went to leave that morning, and Rich King, that captain, was like, hey, we're starting a program up here called the Reserves. We can get you in, and we can get you all your fire certs. You have to be from Ogden. I was from Ogden. You had to apply and do this interview type thing. And essentially they would hire you, in quotes, to work 24 hours a month on a ambulance. And then they'd put you through like your Fire 1, Fire 2, hazmat, all that stuff. But you'd volunteer 24 hours a month. And essentially it was going to be an idea to get guys a break like on the floor. So you do the BLS transports and do all that kind of thing. It ended up not really working out like with their department, like legally having guys that weren't fire certified, like working that way. I'm not sure if they do it now, but anyway, so I started with them. I went to Fire 1, Fire 2 classes. They sent us through UFRA, like a volunteer department up in Mountain Green with a bunch of these volunteer guys, and they sent like 6 of us from Ogden to this, quote, fire academy. Definitely was not like the academy we went to in West Valley, or whatever department I work at. We went through it, and during that camp, I fucking loved fire. Like, it was the closest thing I'd gotten to go back to like playing football and like masking up. It was just like throwing your pads on and just like getting after it. And it was just an awesome experience, like being aggressive with your homies and having fun. And it was actually there in that Mountain Green Academy that Colin Ward, who we just went to that training with, he pulled me aside and he was like, hey, the department we work for is hiring right now. And he was like, you'd probably like it there. I was like, I never even thought of anything. I don't know anything about fire departments. I just knew Ogden because I lived up there and talked to him at the gym. Mm-hmm. And he's like, these guys are aggressive. And if you want to be a dialed firefighter, that's where you need to go. And that's what he told me. And I was like, cool. And the only thing I knew about our city is it's on the news all the time. And I knew it like carried some weight when you said where you were going to work, you know, across even up in Ogden. And you just would say, hey, yeah, I work for this city. And people would be like, oh, yeah, I see him on the news every day. Like that's what my grandparents say you know, like, oh, your city's on the news, or you're on this fire, or you're this, or someone got shot yesterday, whatever. And yeah, so that's all I knew. But that's all it took. I went and signed up and tested and got hired and kind of never looked back. I started out with these guys here in recruit camp and been here ever since. What are we on? Like almost 6 years, 5.5, somewhere. I don't know, somewhere around there. And honestly, it's really the only department that I know.
Nice. And now you're a flight medic and
I have my FPC.
Finishing your degree.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you have your.
I have my FPC.
Don't tell admin though. You don't want.
Yeah. I have it, but I have not utilized it within our department.
Right.
But I love the medicine side. I love the fire side. And yeah, I'm just trying to finish my degree because I'm one of those 12-year students without a bachelor's. You know, it's kind of like a doctor. But yeah, I just want to get that damn piece of paper and put it on my wall. I mean, honestly, I don't feel like it's doing anything for me, but I just want to do it and finish it. And I still actually work in that restaurant. I've been there 11 years now. And it's actually been a really good balance. It's been a good second job to go alongside fire, which is kind of sad that we have to have that. But it does stop me from having to work OT and losing sleep. And it's been a great place to work for a really long time. So
nice.
Yeah.
In the class you're working on now, that's the last class you need for your degree? No.
I'm close, though. I should be done within about a semester and a half.
Nice.
So I have 4 classes just to finish off the degree, and they're all kind of like 2-month little half-block classes, and they're pretty painless. Nice. Yeah. Then I'll have a nice photo shoot with my cap and gown. It'll be beautiful. Maybe I'll come do it on the fire truck. It'll be great.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Yeah.
Well, so what were you? So I wanted to talk to you about what you've been working on too with the union and what you got up and running and how it benefits our department.
Yes. So just to clarify, it isn't actually with the union. We are completely separate organizations. We're not affiliated with the union, but it is because of the union that we've been able to get it up and running. So they've been huge players in getting it going. But I have formed a board of directors. So I've taken the president spot. Ben Chandia is kind of sliding into a vice president unofficially, but he's officially the treasurer of it. Wiseman has taken over as just a board member, chair member. Marcy wants to be the secretary, so she's been appointed that position. And then I have Faydon as another board member. And we're putting together everything to start an official nonprofit organization for the first responders of the city that we work for. So it includes fire, includes dispatch, it includes us as firefighters and their families and kind of the greater community. The purpose of it is to kind of fill the gaps that the union can't and that the association can't fill. That's the way I see it. The mission and vision of this whole thing is to support, like I said, first responders and their families and the greater community through health, hardship, and community impact. So that's our vision, that's our mission. Anything that we do that feeds into those kind of like categories, that's it. That's what it's about. It kind of was born out of last year when Tommy's daughter got sick. And kind of I realized 2 things during that whole situation. One, we have some awesome brotherhood in the fire department when it comes to that type of stuff. Like somebody's kid gets sick, there's an overwhelming amount of people that want to help. Businesses, all of us, like in the department, I think all of us did anything we could. People were like making shirts, signing up, whatever. Like we would do anything we could to help support their family, right? But when I went to support, I planned that Jobtown Jog, which was the half marathon run from station to station throughout the city. I went to businesses to raise money. I tried to get donations from everyone. I did all these different things to try and support paying for their medical bills. What I realized is that one, our department isn't set up to do that properly. We didn't have an official account set up to take any sort of donations. I went to these large businesses that we have in the city we work in, and I was like, hey, this is what I want to do. And they were like, absolutely. Yeah, that sounds great. What's your 501c3 account? I was like, well, what the hell is a 501c3 account? I'm like, I got America First. Like, does that work? I got Venmo. And they were like, yeah, it's a tax exempt account. Like, our hands are tied. Like, we can't just give you money without that tax ID number so that we can, one, write it off for taxes, but also, I mean, big businesses can't just hand you cash, dude. Like, any business can't hand you cash. Like, even I'm one of the top at Sonora Grill, and I can't just send cash to the department. Like, I can give you a gift card. I can say whatever. Or if I do want to give you cash, typically it can only be up to like a couple $100. Like, that's about it. And I went and talked to a couple of these businesses, and one of them in particular was like, yeah, we want to donate. We're all about this. We love supporting, the fire department that serves our community. We can only give $500. I'm so sorry. Now I was like, that's awesome. Like, $500. And they're like, but we'd love to donate more in like $5,000 or $10,000 denominations if you guys had this account. And I was like, well, shit, how do I get an account? Cause that sounds like really important. So I went to the union because I was like, they have to have one of these accounts. And the union was like, no, we don't. And we've tried to do it, but there's some red tape in that. And like, it's kind of hard for us to be a nonprofit as a union. It just kind of didn't work. They said they could maybe, but it just didn't seem clear. And then I went to the association and I was like, hey, do you guys have one of these accounts? Like, how can we make that work? And the association was like, we can label it as a benevolent fund, but it's not a 501c3 account, so they don't get that type of tax thing, but we can take donations through it. And ended up just being another, like, not going to work out type of scenario. So I bitched about it, cried a bit in union meetings and to people. And I was like, how do we not have one of these? Like, we're leaving money on the table. We're not being able to function the way we should. Like, and I don't like having thousands of dollars in my account that's honestly like not really being done the right way. And I would hope that the IRS wouldn't like come after me for whatever, trying to raise money for a sick kid, but I mean, shit happens. Then I was like, how do we go about doing this? How do we do this the right way? And it kind of just ran into all these like dead ends. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to start my own and create a board and get after it. So we started our own foundation. We hired a team of lawyers to go through doing it the correct way. And the union donated the money to help get that started. I was raised with the saying that if you're willing to bitch about something, then you better be willing to fix it. And I bitched the loudest, so I think I need to put in the most work to getting it set up. But right now we're in the process of filing our articles of incorporation, our bylaws, and getting our nonprofit designation from the IRS and from the state. And once that goes through, which should be any week now, we can open that account. We can start taking donations correctly. We can start giving those receipts to larger companies and businesses and ourselves if we choose to donate to it. And then it can become its own organization. The plan for it, the way I see it, and if you guys could help me share this, like hopefully this podcast helps share some of kind of the idea of it, but just in your conversations with people, is kind of a 3-stage approach, 3 phases that I'm looking to go through with this organization. And we may never make it to phase 3, and it may be 10 years or maybe 2 months down the road. I don't know. But phase 1 is just getting this account so that we have an actual account when something happens, that we can hold an event and we can collect money the correct way. We can get larger donations from businesses and we can give it to whoever we want to help, like just because that's the right way to do it. And we can now do it that way instead of Venmo me and then I'll Venmo you and then kind of that type of thing. Like, we'll have an actual account set up. I have a website that's going to go live where you can donate directly through the website. If we want to sell shirts, if we want to do that, you can buy it on the website instead of through an email group and then us kind of like trying to track each other down for money. And if that's all it ever becomes, sweet, like awesome. We're doing things the right way. We can move on from there. Phase 2 is starting to get reoccurring donations. So if that's from big businesses who want to say, hey, yeah, I want to be a supporter of the foundation, we will give this much money every single year. it kind of goes into that account and continues to build. We could do it ourselves. I know some cities and businesses will like let you take it out of your check as like a deduction. Some places match those contributions because it does also help them with taxes. And then that money can go into an account and kind of start building itself. And at least now we have kind of something to pull from and something to do. And it's a place for us to have awesome events. So we can do the golf tournaments. We can do the Jobtown jogs. We can do the burn camp bikes. We can do all those things through a actual organization. And then phase 3 is it's fully functioning, dude. We got fat stacks in there. We're investing money. We're growing it. And it's a fund where now, say, you know, God forbid, someone's kid gets sick or someone's house burns down or something goes wrong. Instead of us scrambling and being like, oh, shit, let's have a golf tournament. Let's do this. Let's do that. It's like, yo, I got you. Fill out this application online, send in your whatever your deductible is for your insurance or whatever you need to pay, and we vote on it as a board. We approve it. Here's your money. Done. That's for you. That's for all of us to help each other. So that's the plan for it to get to that point. That's the hope. Like I said, we may be just phase 1 for the rest of my career. Maybe someone else takes it to that way, but I would love to get to that point where we're able to actually do some real shit for each other.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. And dude, like I've been doing a ton of research on this stuff, and it's not like a new thing. Like California has a ton of foundations that are associated with their fire departments. Like Cal Fire has a huge one. And these guys aren't taking like $500 donations. They have like a diamond medallion, whatever member donation. And they had like 12 to 15 businesses on there donating $500K a year. Plus. And granted, yeah, Cal Fire's a huge department. They're doing a ton of stuff. Like it was like Target and some of these other things, but it just shows that that's out there.
Yeah.
And if we can get that type of money into an account, we can do some real things, you know, with those 3 facets, right? Health, hardship, community impact. That can be cancer prevention checks. That could be saunas in the stations. That could be, you know, I don't know. We hire a personal trainer from whatever to come and train guys every single day. I don't know, like whatever it may be to help with health and preventative measures. Hardship, yeah, I'll pay your bills, help get a babysitter for you if you need it. Like, I don't know, things like that. And then community impact, helping the community. Like, that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve the city that we work in. I want to do some cool stuff for that. Like, I'm sure I don't know if you guys have ever had this, but I remember going on a call to one of these apartment complexes that we were in. Go in there. There's 4 kids, a mom and grandma. They don't have a single thing of furniture, right? They're sleeping on towels. Like, I would love to be able to just go buy them all beds, right? But sadly, well, I'm broke too. But I would love for it. I would love for it to be like, hey, hit up the foundation. You know, like, we want to buy these kids some beds, even if it's air mattresses or it's something, or maybe a Christmas tree. And it doesn't have to be a big old like show and dog and pony and kiss the babies and shake the hands, but like, hey, yeah, here's $600, like, go get some beds or some pillows or whatever, and the department can go put them in the back of their ambo and go drop it off and say, hey, like, we want to help you guys out. This is our way of helping you. I think that gives us some opportunities to do some of that stuff. So that's where we're at. I wanted to have like the website live before I came here, and I could be like, boom, go check it out, like, sign up today. But I'm still waiting on the EIN number so I can get the account and everything set up, but should be coming together pretty soon here.
Yeah,
Should be a good option.
No worries. When it does go live, we'll easily repost and draw all the attention we can. What's the name going to be?
It's called the West Valley Fire Foundation. So, I mean, I don't know how we can really do that.
I'll not care.
Yeah. We wanted it just to be something clean and simple, and I like threw in ChatGPT. I was like, can you generate me 10 foundation names for a nonprofit based out of this city, blah, blah, and it's like Heroes Helping Heroes, you know, like Association of Greatness, you know, like all these different things. I was like, nah, just we want it to be clean and simple and easy for people to find. So it'll be westvalleyfirefoundation.org, and it'll be set up, ready to go.
That's awesome.
And we can sell some swag too. Like it's kind of cool to not be tied to the union or the city, because there's there's not a lot of red tape. It's whatever we want it to be. So
Nice.
make sure to clearly state that like we're not affiliated with the city. We don't share the same views. We don't share the same whatever. And same with the union or the association. So like if you want to make a 73 station shirt, go ahead. Like if you want it to look just like that, if you want to make one like me with friggin' Virgin Guadalupe on there, go ahead. Like I'm sure the city doesn't want to do that, but it goes through here. So you can kind of do that. And that way guys can hopefully feel inspired too. Like if you guys want to have a friggin' bar crawl, like I don't know, like if you guys want to do something, you want to have a powerlifting tournament, I don't know, like whatever the ideas that people have, like we can do things to build that brotherhood and build camaraderie and kind of support each other, and this can be a facet to do it, and that's really the whole purpose of it.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's something we've been lacking for quite some time.
and the union does it, you know, but like
They're bound, kind of.
they're bound, dude. Like the union is bound, and for good reason.
Yeah.
But they're also, you know, like they have bigger problems. You know, they're trying to handle wages, fair work environments, going to Capitol Hill and fighting for us that way. Like we're gonna fight for us this way.
Yeah.
In a different angle.
And the community we work for.
Yeah.
Which to see that we can make a positive impact in other ways is great, because there's plenty of days where you do this job and you're like, I'm not impacting shit.
Right. 100%.
But knowing that there are other ways rather than just calling 911.
Yep. Well, like Bozen, he wants to do a kiddie camp, like a little kids camp. Like one day in the summertime, you know, maybe it's a few hours, and we sell tickets, right? And kids ages whatever to whatever, like elementary school kids can come by, and we'll put them through a fire course, and we'll let them climb a ladder. We'll do whatever and help them. And like, dude, that feeds a lot of people. Like, I don't know. You guys have kids, and Shane, you don't, but we have dogs, which are but like, you know, my little nephew comes to the fire station. He's 4 years old, and he's like shaking and just hyped to like see a fire truck and like, you know, just be a part of it. And I don't know, that stuff juices me up, dude. Like watching all these kids that just are stoked to see, you know, us do what we do. And I think doing things like that, helping kids, you don't know what kind of impact that's going to have on that kid's life. And it's an awesome opportunity. So I'm hoping Bozen gets after that, and then we all can kind of help him.
Nice. And now it's recorded. So
yeah, thanks, Bozen. That was so cool, dude. Like, such an awesome idea. Everyone's really hyped about it.
well, nice, man. That's going to be sweet. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So you guys you also went up to Idaho here. What has it been 3 weeks now? 3 weeks ago. What was that company, and what did it all entail? What were they trying to achieve?
It was a conference. So they brought together a lot of, I don't even know what you call those. Like, are they companies? Like ambassadors?
They started out
cadres?
as like just ways for firefighters to, you know, go out and drink together in different chapters of the United States, right? So then more chapters opened, and then instead of just being like a club, this sounds specifically to the company we went with, which is the Fools. So as these chapters open, a lot of these guys decided that they could put out some valuable training, and then that just grew. So now they go throughout the United States. Like, for instance, in Boise, what was it, Treasure Valley? It was the Treasure Valley Fools. So that chapter put on this training, and they get guys from all over the country. Like, we got Colin Ward from down south. Yeah. We got guys from FDNY, Cal Fire Stockton. There were a couple guys from Stockton Fire, some guys from Florida. I mean, they come from everywhere. Atlanta. And they treat this training as a way to develop further skills proactively and progressively. Because as you know, most of our fire academies for the recruits starting out, they teach the basic accreditation standards. They have to pass this test, right? And so you can't blame them for what they're teaching and what they're putting out, because it's the curriculum that they have to adhere to. There's just no way around it. So these guys saw that, and they take this training to another level. You go out there and you choose what you want to train on. They offer different classes. And they teach you new tactics, maybe tactics you've seen before that they're kind of just refreshers, new tactics that you haven't ever seen before, stuff you haven't done in a long time. Some stuff you take with you and you use, some stuff you kind of scrap because it didn't work for you. But you go to this training, and these guys are so laid back, they just want you to get out of it what you want to get out of it. So you sign up for these courses, whatever it may be, VEIS, irons ready, nozzle forward, responsibilities of the first 2 nozzlemen. And you go over all that for, 2-3 days, and you just get rep after rep on things that you might have never seen before. And it's just a laid back environment with people from all over the place. I saw, my old medic partner's brother came from San Diego for that, and I got to see him, so you see guys from all over the place with, a common goal just to get better, and the vibe's super mellow. You're all competing with each other, but at the end of the day, it's super fun, and you kind of get out of it what you put into it.
It was, I think the vibe that they put out was probably what made it such an amazing training. It was, and I've been telling this to everyone, it was highly aggressive, it was highly aggressive, high standards, but zero ego. Like, we're here to get better. We're not here to peacock around and show you how great of a fireman I am, to teach you how great I am. It was like, no, I'm teaching you how to be a better firefighter from what we've all learned. And it was hands down the best.
Yeah. There wasn't any storytelling.
Yeah.
There wasn't any it was just, this is how we're going to do it. This is why we think you should do it this way. We're going to train on it. If you don't want to do it, fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. But
Because it doesn't apply to every situation. Like the training that we're going to put on for the department, it's a tool in your toolbox. It's not supposed to be that everyone accepts it and that everyone, adapts it as their own or adopts it as their own. But, we want to put on this training to make it valuable from what we learned. And then you guys can decide whether it works for you or not. You guys can decide whether you're comfortable with it. You guys can decide how you want to change it or how you want to practice it. But I can tell you, we've been out pretty much every day since we got back trying this stuff, and it's attracted a lot of people. I think the second shift we practiced it, we had 10 or 12 guys with us doing it, and they just wanted to get rep after rep. So it's that kind of training to bring back is infectious to everyone.
Dude.
And it can change the mentality of a lot of people, especially the ones that are younger than us or newer to the job than us, that they're hungry. They want to train, and you can see it. We just need to bring some new stuff that is valuable and let them decide what works for them. Empower them to make their own decisions on that.
That's awesome.
yeah, it's good. One of the big takeaways I took was you're not going to necessarily change people's mentality, but if you are out there doing this stuff on your own and you're being the example, that's going to attract people, and then that's going to multiply on its own.
And I don't know about you guys, but I mean, I've been honestly preaching it for 3 weeks since I got back from this conference. Just every fire table we've been at, I've had conversations with so many people, and I haven't had any pushback from a single person that wants to get after it. But I feel like people want it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's yeah.
You know, I've been about it, and I think I've trained more in the last 3 weeks than I have in a year, to be honest.
Well, and look at what you guys have talked about before. We're still pretty young in our careers, but we're already pushing forward to, raise the standard and moving forward. We got a lot of guys that have already gone through this in their career. They've put in the work, and they've pushed that culture forward, and they've pushed training, and they've pushed that hard work and that aggressive behavior that our department has gotten accustomed to. So now it's our time to kind of take the reins, and what do we want this department to look like in the next 15, 20 years? I mean, you guys have said it yourselves. So this is our opportunity to push the culture forward that's already come before us, learn from the people that came before us, respect what they've done, and push that culture forward. It doesn't have to be the same. It can be what we want it to be, but at the same time, we don't want it to get stale. We want to continue, working from where the guys ahead of us left off. And this is a big part of it, and it's pretty glaringly obvious to me.
Yeah, I think that's that's the evolution of the fire service, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, when you really think about it, because back, way back at its origin, it was experience and word of mouth. And then it turned into, we've had so many big incidents happen, maybe we start creating standards. Mm-hmm. And then you have these organizations like NFPA and so forth. And that come in, write the standards, and then you have courses or schools or academies or departments that have to adhere by certain standards, and they teach that. But then it's okay, what's the next step?
Now what?
That's where this class was at, is now what?
Yeah. It was very humbling. I mean, we all use that word because you get used to training on the same. The stuff we're training on, especially in like my recruit academy, the ones that are still going, are the things that I learned in the first one in 2013. So, and they're all extremely beneficial. Don't get me wrong. You got to start somewhere, and it's building that foundation for higher learning and higher decision making. But once these guys and girls get out onto the floor, we have the obligation to take it further, like you were just saying. And these kind of trainings give people ideas to train on, because it's hard to sift through all this new information to determine what's best for our department, our hose layouts, all that type of stuff is different between departments. So if someone can come up with a good idea or learn something from someone that was of value to them, they're going to bring it back to your department, at least to their crew. Their crew's going to see them training on it. That crew's going to come out there with them. Other crews are going to see that these guys are doing better than them and getting, more practice. I'm not going to let these guys get better than me overnight. Like, I'm going to be out there doing the same thing they are if I see them doing it. So I think it's just, actions speak louder than words. And one of you two just said it, it's infectious.
It is.
You can't, we're all the same personality in some way or another. We can't look at someone doing a bunch of work and sit back and not try to do the same thing. No.
Yeah. I think it's easy for guys to either hang their hat on their rank or their years of service. Mm-hmm. And you're like, that's great and all, man. And I respect that. However, that doesn't mean you're the shit, right?
Yeah, right.
And that doesn't mean
we learned that.
We learned that. We learned it hardcore.
I felt like a recruit again.
Yeah.
In this class.
No joke.
No joke. The things that they were teaching us, they were not advanced techniques or tactics. They were very, very basic, but they're things that we hadn't done in a long time, or they were just things that we weren't necessarily taught. Yeah. And there were volunteer dudes that were kicking our ass. Yeah. And it was a little embarrassing, and it kind of put your ego in check a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But
do you think that's because, like, we've kind of gotten sloppy in the way we do things?
I think sloppy. I think complacent. I think arrogant. I think ignorant. Yeah. I think there's a lot of things within our organization that need to change. And this was very eye-opening going to this class. And, like, I knew that I was going to learn a lot from it, but I learned things differently than I thought I was going to. Mm-hmm. But like I said, I think that the environment that we were in was so beneficial because, like Drew said, there was no ego. No. There was no look at me. There was no storytelling about where I'm from or what I've done or how long I've been on, and I've been on this many fires. There was none of that. There was just, hey, what's up? We're all in the same profession. We all want to get better. This is what we're going to teach you. If you don't like it, don't do it. Don't take it back to your apartment. But this is what we're teaching you, and we genuinely want you guys to get better in this profession. And that's why we're here.
And dude, like, talking about rank, I mean, that conference had 35-year deputy chiefs there and probies of 3 months, like, just finished fire academy and everything in between, captains, senior firefighters, whatever, right? And everyone was getting after it the same way. Like, no deputy chief. I mean, he has his deputy chief helmet on, white cap, but he's still humping hose, and he's still trying to fix his friggin' hose grip and, like, learning something.
Yeah, he was a cool dude.
Yeah. I mean, he was teaching us how to mask up with gloves on, like, just face to face. He didn't care. And that was the whole vibe, and that was the idea. So that was infectious too. Like, when you have a guy that's 35 years on, or, is obviously a master of the craft, still getting after it, how can you not want to get after it?
And then we had a new guy who he had a question mark on his shield.
Yeah.
I asked him what was for, and he's like, I don't have a job yet.
Yeah.
He's out there working his ass off, and he's better than us.
Dude,
he's like
making us look like jackasses.
Had his own turnouts, had his own SCBA.
Yeah.
He just figured out how to do it.
Idiots.
He made it work.
Yeah, 100%, dude. And I do want to say this, like, we were saying, I think our department has gotten complacent and arrogant.
I think that we got to say that's a lot of it's not.
It is, right.
It's a lot of firefighters in general.
It is in general, and I want to take it, like, when I say that, I say it as, like, to myself. And that's where I'm coming from, is when I went in there and I was like, whoa, shit. Like, this, like we all said, I remember all of us, like, giving each other a look at different times throughout the training, like, oh boy, like, I'm about to look like a jackass.
The first evolution, that very first forceful entry evolution that I did, and I was trying to mask up with my gloves on after forcing the door, and I was like, oh my God. Yeah. How have I been on for almost 6 years, and I look like a recruit right now?
Yeah. So if anyone hears this, like, from our department, it's absolutely not to say that we're talking down. Like, I'm talking to myself. Like, I got humbled, and I learned, there's a shit ton to learn. And it made us all just hungry to learn it, to be honest.
And honestly, we didn't learn. It wasn't a large amount of knowledge that we gained on that in that training. It was like 5 to 10 little nuggets here and there that change your whole perspective on like pushing a hose that's flowing water. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, like
for example,
one of the best analogies that they gave that was eye-opening to me was if you look at the fire service and you think of it as a corporate business or a sports team, right? Like it's a horrible business model and a horrible sports team, because the idea is like, let's use sports as an example. Imagine if I was a basketball team in the NBA and I was still playing like the Indiana Hoosiers, like shooting the ball upside, underhand, tossing it. There's no 3-pointer in my reservoir. Like I don't even know what that is, right? But I take pride in it. I'm like, I know we get our ass kicked every single game out here, but we've been doing it this way for 150 years, and we take pride in it because that's what we do. Meanwhile, I'm getting dunked on by LeBron from the free throw line and Steph Curry shooting from the logo, right? And we're just like taking pride in it. And I was like, yeah, that makes no sense. We need to be progressing. Like it can't be the same stuff that you learned in Fire Academy whatever years ago, or the same shit that the 35-year-old deputy chief learned back then. Like it needs to grow. And that was what this conference like really pushed was.
Again, once you're out of the academy like that, the academy's got to start somewhere.
Yes,
and
yes.
Until they change like the accreditation standards
Yeah.
and the testing standards, there's nothing you can do about that, right? You got to teach to a test. But yeah, like you're saying, after that is where all of this comes in.
Did you not think that, I mean, in my opinion, I felt damn good coming out of our recruit
I
academy.
did too. Yeah.
I think like Chief Williams, Captain, Captain Hall, now Chief Hall at the time, they were amazing. Yeah. I thought they got us to that baseline standard and a little ahead of that than pretty much anywhere. Like I remember calling, like I said, I went to the Mountain Green Fire Academy and I remember calling those guys I went to work with who were getting hired by Ogden. And I was like, hey, there's some shit you guys need to learn. Cause I'm, what's your hydrant time? How fast can you do this? What about that? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I felt dialed in comparison. So I think the base is there, but what do we do after the base is set? How do we become a certified firefighter to a professional firefighter? And that's where we're kind of trying to get to.
Yeah, I think we're on the right track with doing what we did and then bringing it back. We just need to standardize testing or training regularly. And like I think there's something that gets said a lot is like we're too busy. Like there's time to train. There's always time to train. Like I think it's probably necessary to go out of service to train. Like that should be our priority.
And again,
which we did the other day. They were
exactly.
It seems like we've gotten a lot of support, and it's not going to be pulling teeth to try to get what we need out of this. It's talking to our chiefs or deputy chiefs, even our training captains. They're all in on helping us with what we need, and I think that this could be an eye-opening experience for a lot. Hopefully,
and you know what? Not to. Just so we don't run away from that point too quick, because it's a great point. If you don't have time to train, that's a fucking resource problem. And your administration, department, city, whatever, needs to fucking fix it. It doesn't fall on the guys. That's not the people who are working on the floor responsibility to bear as far as, I'm too busy, I'm not sleeping, I guess I'm not going to train. I guess I'm not going to work out. I guess, you know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, that just shows that there's fucking holes in this ship and we need to plug them up.
My opinion on that, though, and again, speaking to myself, it's a fucking cop-out. Like, people are like, oh, I'm too busy. I can't train. Bullshit, dude. Like,
it takes longer to set up the training than it is to even go through it.
And, I mean, we ran last 24 that I was on, I think we finished with like 14 calls. It's a busy day, right? We still went over and trained for 2 hours? Yeah, we did that. I finished like 6 things of homework. I got a workout in, helped a probie, and we still were able to have some ice cream and watch a movie, right? Like, there's enough time to do the job. It's just, do you want to do it? And that's where it all falls.
Yeah, and it doesn't take long to be beneficial.
No.
Like, we were out there for 2 hours the other day, and
we got 12 people through the training that we went through in Boise.
Yeah.
A portion of it, the hard portion of it. But
they
all wanted to keep doing it over and over and over again. So,
Yeah.
all right, we'll stay out here as long as you guys want,
And
everybody gave us great feedback afterwards.
Yeah.
Dude, They loved it. And shout out to like talking about support, right? I mean, we had Nacho, we had Ryder, and who else was there?
Burn there.
And Burn, right? Like
Nice.
2 captains and engineer. And those guys were like, yeah, you guys want to train? Sick. Nacho, I'm going to mow all the lawn. I'm going to handle all the chores. I mean, how many years has Nacho been on?
Yeah.
Right? Like 14, 15, something like that. I don't know. But anyway, an engineer, he's like, I'm going to do all the chores for you guys. Burn and Ryder are like, we're going to put one engine out of service or whatever, and we'll cover both of the busiest parts of the city we work in while you guys train.
While they're figuring out how to make a badass live fire scenario for us and how to make it awesome, and looking into thermometers to figure out how much faster you're cooling down an environment with flowing water as opposed to shutting off and moving, and how much steam they're looking into all this stuff that are questions coming up in the training we're doing, because they're standing right there with us, and they're not worried to ask for support at this point. They've shown support so far,
And a lot of guys we went to that conference with didn't have the same support we did. And I was super appreciative. All of us were super appreciative of that, and saw like, hey,
they're willing.
Oh yeah, people are hungry.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why we also, like, through this training, because, our deputy chief wanted us to come back with valuable training. They didn't just want to send us out to have some fun, right? So we're coming back with some training. So if there's any type of feedback that we can get as to how we can make it more valuable, so that our admin sees the true value in this and wants to send people to these trainings in the future further, like, we need to know that type of stuff. So don't be afraid with some pushback, because then it'll start a conversation that brings questions into our head and maybe drills points into yours that you hadn't thought about before. So, if moving forward, if there's any feedback from this that we can get, that's ideal.
Yep. And like I said, I mean, I think a lot of it's a cop-out, a lot of it's an excuse, like we were talking about earlier, but our department is helping, and they are supporting what we want to do. And we met guys out there from Seattle, from all over, that had zero support.
They paid their whole way.
They paid their whole way. The dude had to steal the SCBAs to use, because they were like, and don't bring our shit out there either. Yeah. Like, we're not paying for it. We're not sending you, and don't take any of your shit, because that's ours. And the only reason they were out there is because he knew some guy who like worked on the SCBAs and could sneak it to him.
Damn.
Like,
They worked trades
ahead
of time just to have the time off to go.
Yeah. He's like, I go to work tomorrow. And he's like, and it's
driving
worth it.
back.
I'm driving back to go to work in the
12
morning.
hours.
And, so guys are getting after it. Guys are doing it. We need to take advantage of the fact that we do have people who are willing to help and support. And I think recognize that.
Plus, man, it was fucking fun. Just
dude.
It was a blast. Just
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Getting better at a job you love with the homies. Like, what else is there?
Boise with the boys.
Boise with the boys? Making the stretch, bro? Making the push?
I was talking to someone just yesterday, actually. I was working a trade, and I was like, because just work can be frustrating, and you get sick of it, over it real fast. It becomes mundane. All of a sudden, taking psych patients aren't as fun as the very first time you did it. You know what I mean? Like, it adds up. And so now I'm trying to tell myself repeatedly, I just need to focus on what I can control. Focus on what I can control. And for me, that's been, okay, that means I'm going to eat as clean as I possibly can. Every now and then, if I needed to treat myself, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it's like, I'm still doing everything I can in that aspect. I'm going to bed early instead of staying up watching bullshit TV in the recliners, I'm working out. And then when I do feel like I need to rest, I rest, right? I'm not saying I'm going 100% in the red day in, day out. It's trying to find that balance. And when I do that, all of a sudden I find more time and energy in the day to do more. Yeah. And then I get hungry, and I do want to do more. And perhaps if we all kind of start setting that trend more or less, especially in this profession, as the young generation coming up in it, then perhaps then we get that support from the top down, like we hope we have, and then we get more opportunities to train like that. We make it a priority. We put people out of service, and then we have the staffing to support that structure as well. And so we don't feel like we're just getting worked into the ground and having the world demanded of us, or, you know what I mean? Just because we are a busy department and so forth. But how do you prioritize that? And how do you present that to the people who actually run the show?
Man, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I think the first thing is like kind of what we're doing right now by trying to like let our actions speak louder than words. I think
controlling what you can control.
Exactly. I mean, you hit it on the head. You know, we can control these things, and you know, our sleep, our diet, our exercise. We've learned a lot of information from the people before us. So we would be stupid not to listen to it and try to abide by the things that they're telling us are more healthy for our lifestyle. Yeah. But I think that the more that we show them that we're willing to put in some work to benefit the department, I think they're going to be much more willing to help us out. And this is proof. You know, we've been talking about school leave for feels like the past year, right? With you know, our specialty issues, our specialty team issues. We've been talking about school leave for the past year, and that was a major one. And look, all of a sudden, you know, Shane and Colt get to go out to Boston for some hazmat training. We're going to Boise. Like, they're willing to support that. We just have to show that we're willing to do it and do the legwork to get there. But again, that's more specific to the past training topic we were talking about. But as far as getting admin help for, you know, the sleep issues, the dietary issues, the physical issues, I think most of it's kind of on us, minus the sleep issue. Right. There's some sleep stuff that obviously is a big deal right now with the IAFF. And I know we're going to talk about that in a second, but I think if we can get on a common ground where we're going to have to give up a little bit to get it, but so might they. I mean, there's an answer there. We got to get creative to figure that part out. And I think that would be a huge step forward for everybody. And especially like you're saying, when you get frustrated, when you get beat down, when you get tired, most of that's from lack of sleep, right?
Yeah.
So what can we do for that? And I don't know for sure yet. I think there's still a lot of research to be done, but like I said, we'll get to that.
Yeah, ask your doctor and your physicals.
Yeah,
because they always ask. They're like, "Oh, well, how's your sleep?" I'm like, "Well, it's shit,
dog shit."
And I'm like, what do you think I can do about it?" Dude, like, Google's top 5 ways to help your sleep, and like pulls it up. He's like, do you drink tea before bed? And I'm like, oh yeah, yep, every time, we drink tea. Yeah, dude, we don't have control over that.
Yeah, and I mean, we're there now, but so to that, I mean, I was watching that presentation that IAFF put out, which was interesting. There's a lot of it you're like, yeah, like we know this. Yeah. But a lot of it reiterated, it's not a matter of going to your doctor and trying to take care of things. It's you have to take care of these things. Like, are you drinking caffeine at 9 p.m.? Are you having your 5th energy drink of the day?
Dude, I'm in that inspector class, and I'm watching these guys in front of me, legitimately with 4 to 5 fucking rock stars stacked. And it's like by noon, they've pounded 4 of them.
Like, we're all medical professionals. We know this shit. Like, I don't want a kidney stone.
No, hell no.
Well, I mean, it's hard to get away from though, right? Like we all depend in some way or another on caffeine. A lot of us depend on tobacco at some points or another, which is a stimulant. People aren't you're supposed to stop doing tobacco at the same point of the day you're supposed to stop drinking caffeine, right?
Yeah.
And there's a ton of people, tobacco use has increased. Well, there's one thing you can do to stop, sleeping poorly. You're going to sleep real slow because you just threw a lip in, or you smoked a cigarette for some of us at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. Now you're screwed.
Yeah.
But I think, Shane brought up a point to us a long time ago. I don't know how long it's been, but changing, and it was part of this presentation, I think, right? Changing the
start
shift
time
change.
Oh, yeah.
From like 7 a.m. where you're getting up in the morning, and now your circadian rhythm is off because you slept like crap. You're supposed to stay up for the rest of the day because it's sunny, everything's open, your kids need help, your wife needs help, whatever's going on in your day. Whereas if you get off at 4, 5, 6, 7 p.m., well, you can go right into your circadian rhythm and get a full night's sleep instead of combating that for the next 12 to 16 hours.
Yeah.
And that's just an example. I'm not saying that's what we need to do or what we need to look at, but people need to get creative, and that's a creative way of looking at the problem.
Well, I think it goes back to what we were saying, like, do you want to be the Indiana Hoosiers, or do you want to be a progressive team? Like, like they talk about Google and all that, dude. Like, they do some crazy shit, right? But it works. But they're trying, and some of it doesn't, right? But they're trying, and we're stuck on the same. That's how we've been doing it. So it is.
What's
what
like
it
when
is.
you hear about pay, right? They're like, well, we can't be the highest, but why not? Someone has to be.
Yeah.
Someone has to change or try something new. Someone has to do it. Why not us?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we pride ourselves on as far as being progressive, but we pick and choose what we want to be progressive on.
Yeah.
It's just kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, I brought up the idea of putting together that presentation for years now, and I haven't done it. I've just been procrastinating. But what do you guys think? As far as
I like the idea, and we've talked about it. Sorry, keep going.
No, yeah, I was just saying my initial thought was putting together a presentation on shift change going from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Oh, yeah. Something very small. But my thought process is myself specifically, but I know most dudes have shared the same, that the night before going on shift, they sleep like absolute dog shit because like you're already kind of in that limbic state. You're already kind of hyper vigilant because you're ready to go to work. So you sleep like shit the night prior to going to work. The 2 nights at work, you're going to sleep like shit no matter what. Even if you're not getting up on calls, like you're not going into REM sleep really. You're not going into like stage 3 and 4 of non-REM sleep. It's very, very light sleep. And then the morning that you get off shift, you got to wake up at 6 a.m. just to take your turnouts off the truck and go home. So that's 4 nights out of every 7 or 4 nights out of every 6 that you're sleeping like shit. I think if we were to look at putting shift change from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m., that would fix 2 of those nights. The morning that you go on shift, you'd get a couple more hours of sleep. And the morning that you're going off, you're not waking up so early just to go home.
Yeah.
But you're still getting up early and you're sleeping like shit, right? So you're still getting up and you're going off duty at 9 a.m. Well, it's still light out and you've still slept like shit, so your circadian rhythm's off. And that was the point that this doctor was making, is like, I don't think that she was talking about like 7 a.m. specifically. I think she was talking about she thinks it's bogus that we get off in the morning at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead of, because what you need to do when you get off duty, you should be prioritizing sleep. And I know they talk about you can't catch up on the sleep you lost.
Yeah.
But she was pretty adamant, and she's done a ton of sleep studies about you need to prioritize sleep after you get off duty. Most of us can't do that. So why not get off duty? You go home, you eat dinner, you put your kids to bed or whatever you're doing, and then you go to sleep. Yeah. And now you're just kind of going into that natural circadian rhythm. Yep. I think with...
So are you thinking like 4 p.m.?
I'm thinking like 7 p.m.
Yeah, you know, I was talking to Kirky in the gym the other day, and he was saying like, yeah, you know, but if we get off at 4, then a lot of us like skip it. We got to drive pretty far during rush hour. And it's like, okay, well then that's maybe where you vote differently, or there's an hour that works for a vast majority of the people, and maybe it is 9 o'clock, and maybe that's the only thing that would work. You know,
I mean, you can't tell me it's better that he gets off at 6:30 in the morning after sleeping a shit night to drive that many hours back home. Like, that's not a good option. It's just a shitty either way.
Well, my point is, people have excuses. For why not. So there's got to be a common ground for a lot of people, and it's there. We just got to figure out what it is, which is where your presentation would come into handy, because then you get a pulse on what people think in the department, not just us 4 here.
I think we actually brought this up. The union brought it up. Someone else brought it up 6 years ago.
Oh, yeah?
For that exact thing, shift change in the evening. You know why we didn't do it? Or what the big
Other shift.
Was that the
other
bargaining?
jobs? Other jobs.
Yeah. People that work other
fire
part-time departments.
Fire jobs specifically, yeah.
Okay, well,
which is another problem.
Which is another problem,
I mean,
right?
there's always going to be a problem.
Yeah,
there's always going to be something.
I'm not arguing. I'm arguing for it, but I think it's time we need to start addressing those issues along the way, right? If that's what's standing in our way, okay, we need to fucking pay people more.
Yeah.
Right.
And then we can, or who knows, maybe we can have more flexible shifts, right? Like maybe you can have people who say, well, I want to be on the 7 a.m. start time. And then you have people start at, like, why not? Why can't you have people coming in and rotating on and off at different times?
Yeah.
You just utilize trades.
Yeah.
It's just effort.
Yeah, it's
Effort and planning.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's definitely doable.
It is.
I just think there's going to be a lot of negativity.
Yes.
There's always the dudes that don't want to change things because this is how we've always done it, like you were saying.
Yeah.
But
Which is fine. So why not make like a trial period or something like that?
Yeah.
You know, do it for 6 months or a bid. Whatever. I don't care.
And have our medical director come in and do a study.
Well, that's what I got from. So this this webinar that we watched, like we got all this information, and then part of the questions at the end were like, well, so what do you recommend for, what kind of sleep schedule would you recommend for, you know, firefighters that are on 24 to 48 hour shift work? And all she said was like, basically, I don't know. I haven't done enough research on it myself to give you a good idea of what I should recommend. All I recommend so far is that you guys shift changes at night, right?
Yeah.
So she doesn't even have the research that she's presenting to firefighters as to what is the best schedule to recommend. She's just kind of giving us information. So it's pretty abundantly clear that there might not be any research that needs to be done or that's been done, and there's a ton that needs to be done. So why aren't we getting doctors in the position with our IAFF union to figure this type of stuff out?
Yeah, we need to stop shrugging our shoulders and actually
Yeah.
try to find a solution.
So let's get a doctor in there with, you know, have our union talk to, or whatever.
Yeah.
Get a doctor in there who has a vested interest in looking into our schedule specifically, because we know every department, except for maybe like FDNY and a couple, are on 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
So start looking at those type of shit, like that shift work specifically that pertains to us, instead of having doctors come in and tell us why sleep deprivation is bad with nothing else to recommend.
Yeah.
You know, why it's just like we're spinning a wheel.
When we're overworked,
Yeah.
underpaid, overworked, sleep deprived. I mean, you know,
And we're stubborn about it.
and we're stubborn about it, or we're prideful about
Yeah,
it.
we take sleep deprivation as like, we talk about it
Badge
with
of
pride.
honor. Yeah.
Like,
I also have the feeling, though, again, like you speaking for myself, that these schedules I don't want to lose. Like the sleep deprivation is something I'm willing to live with if it keeps us on the 24 to 48 hour schedule for the rest of my career, because I don't know when I'm going to die. I don't know if I'm going to live to 80, 90, if I'm going to live to 65. So the 25 years that I'm working here, it's making available a ton of time with my family, a ton of time with the friends and the people I care about. So I'm trying to front load my life with these experiences, and it's just kind of something that I've chosen to deal with, right? But I see that there's options to make this a hell of a lot better. Yeah. So I want to pursue those with the caveat in my head that I'm still pretty happy with being able to have 4 days off in a row, to 10 days off, to 16. I have the whole month of July and the first 2 shifts in August off, right? Like, you can do a whole hell of a lot with that schedule. Whereas if we switch to the 1s and 2s, or, you know, we go to 12-hour shifts with night shift, blah, 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 you know, those might not be the answers for the freedom that we're afforded right now.
Yeah, we can improve while still trying to preserve what we like about our schedule.
Yeah,
I think the 24 is here to stay. Like, I think there's a lot of science behind the 24.
And she also made the point, this doctor made the point, that you could switch to like day and night crews, but you're still going to have a ton of overtime. So these guys that are on the day crews are going to be taking night crew shifts. These night crews are going to be taking day crew shifts. So, you know, and these night crews that are on, their circadian rhythm is going to be all screwed up. So you got half these guys that are getting good sleep, half these guys that are getting, you know, shitty sleep. Yeah. But you're also getting guys taking overtime because we're not paid enough, as a lot of people say, right? So that's not technically an answer, right? You're still going to be working 24s. You're still going to be pulling overtime. You're still going to be sleep deprived if you go to these shorter shifts. So I don't think it's an answer anyway. But these are the questions that you got to ask before you take it to admin, right?
Yeah. Well, and we work 72 hours a week.
Right.
Well, why can't we, and to be clear, before I even bring this up, our department used to have the modified Kelly, which California still runs on.
Yeah.
Which, fuck that. And the doctor in this presentation made a point to say how shitty that is, because you go on shift, you come home, you don't even get to recover, and then you're back on shift.
Right.
Whereas we run 48 hours on, 96 hours off, 2 days on, 4 days off. Well, we work 72 hours a week.
Yeah.
I know the way we do it is 56 hours, and that's only to abide by federal law. Yeah.
Right.
But we work 72 hours a week. Right, I'm on 2 days. I'm off 4 days. That's only 6 days. So by the 7th day of the week, I'm back at work.
Yeah.
Why not move to 24 hours on and 3 days off?
3 days off.
Yeah.
Right. Have a D shift. We have ABC. Why not have D?
Yeah.
Because we're too cheap to do it. Like that's not a reason. And if I'm working 48 hours a week, I'm still working more hours than your average American.
Yeah.
You're still hitting the quota of what we've decided as society is a full-time job.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
And then some.
And then some.
And then you're still going to have guys take overtime and shift trades and second jobs.
Which is why people need to be paid better.
Yeah.
And I think that, I know we're all talking out from, we all are in agreement. So the 24/72 is the solution in a lot of our minds, in my eyes, to solving a lot of these problems. But it also serves the citizens we serve. Like, that's the thing that I think a lot of us miss on that. Is like, think about it, dude. Like, if your kid has to go to surgery with some surgeon, do you want the doc that's on his 72-hour shift and hasn't slept in a few days, like, to make these decisions? You'd be like, dude, fuck no. Like, get that guy out of here, dude. I want the guy who just showed up this morning and is well fed, well slept, and is ready to rock. And you would pay more money to have that guy do what you want to do. And that's what they're asking of us. I'm not a surgeon, obviously, but
No, but you could be intubating someone in their car at 6 a.m.
absolutely. Absolutely. You're asking, okay, I want your anesthesiologist to hop in the back of a moving box on Bangerter to tube my kid in the worst time of my life. Okay, well, I'm glad that he works 72 hours.
Yeah, he's probably he's probably ready to go.
Yeah, he's raring, dude. Yeah, like, so no, that's what you want, is you want the best prepared people to be there in your shittiest situation.
Well, and it goes with our tension that we were talking about earlier. Who's going to, if your department is offering us 24.72, who are you going to work for when the next departments are on 48.96?
Yeah.
Right? But it has to be fiscally responsible for a city to do that, right? So, and, you know, we've talked about, there's plenty of departments that have gone to that in Hawaii and Florida and a couple other states, maybe Texas,
California
right? So in the next 5 years, there's going to be a hell of a lot of research that comes out from that. I can guarantee it, because the IAFF is going to be back in that, right? So they're going to start doing research on what's the monetary, you know, restrictions here. Maybe the lawsuits that come from, you know, incompetencies based on sleep deprivation are, you know, going to be astronomical with those liabilities. So maybe it is cheaper to just hire a fourth platoon.
Well, that's what they're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you guys have all listened to the same podcast that I've listened to from, like, Behind the Shield. Is that what it's called? Right? Shane sent it over to me. And that guy's been pushing this for 7 years, he said.
Yeah.
Like, he's been on this and talking to chiefs and people who have put it into effect. And they say that they are saving money hand over fist.
Yeah. Based on what? I can't remember. I didn't watch it too.
It was based on, I mean, and again, I don't quote me because I don't remember exactly, but largely the insurance premiums over time, because people aren't calling out sick as much anymore. People aren't having as many family emergencies because they're at home with their family. People aren't getting injured as much, either on duty or off duty, due to sleep deprivation, out of shape, whatever the hell it may be. And accidents aren't happening on shift. I mean, myself included, I drove the fucking ambulance through a garage door because I hadn't slept and all kinds of shit, right? Med errors aren't happening, on-duty injuries, right? Like they say, I want to say, again, don't quote me, but it was like 84% of maydays and on-job accidents, car accidents, med errors happen on day 2. And it's like, it makes sense.
Yeah.
How could you expect someone to function at the highest level possible without being provided the ability to do so?
Right.
But they're making money on the back end there. And then the insurance premiums on, like, health insurance, because guys are healthier. Guys aren't.
Yeah, like you're not having cardiovascular disease.
Yeah.
You can't fight cardiovascular disease related to sleep deprivation other than more sleep, right?
Right. And it's like the leading cause. Like, it's like what, like lack of sleep. All you're doing and all I'm doing to eat better, train hard, like sleep well, is just to combat what we're already stacked up against with sleep deprivation. Like, fix that a little bit, and I mean, our efforts are going to go a lot further. And the other point that I like to make, I'm sorry, I'm passionate about this. Like the other point I like to make is, like, they just dropped on us. Yeah, I don't want you to work 20 years. I want you to work 25.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, bet. I'll work 25, but let's make 25 last a little longer. Like, you can't just keep everything the same and say, give me 5 more years.
Yeah, exactly. And then add a homeless shelter that's not going to be 4 months anymore. It's going to be a year and 4 months, and then probably even longer than that if we're being honest with each other, right? Then we have high-density housing apartment complexes that have blasted up in 73's area with no extra staffing. What's that going to do? We have another E-Gate apartment complex going in right next to E-Gate pretty much, right? So what's going to happen there? Where our call volume, you could potentially believe, is going to increase, right? It's already pretty bad at night. I haven't slept through the night, and I don't even know when the last time is, right? So, and that's only going to get worse, especially for 7.5s with no extra ambulance that's going to be funded for or hired for. Right? So there's little things that can be of some great support that just aren't being put in place because we're not forecasting it.
Yeah. You gotta have forethought, and not to mention, if the city's growing, the population's growing, the resources have to grow. We're a resource. You have to grow your resources.
Yeah. And it's it's a heavy resource.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a demanding resource.
it's a demanding resource, and you know, I'm probably one of the worst at like demanding like what I'm valued pay wise, right? Like I don't know, you guys are probably the same as me. We're all firefighters, so we all kind of fall into that. Where we'll like do less with more, or do more with less, right? That's like kind of our whole motto. But if you really think about it, like, you know, Rachel, my girlfriend, kind of brings this to my attention all the time. Is like, no, I think you guys just don't know what your value is, because in what world? Imagine the fire service wasn't a thing, right? Or EMS or whatever, and you could just call a number, and 6 to 7 people would show up any day, anytime, 365, Christmas Eve, whatever it may be, within 5 minutes to solve whatever problem you have.
Yeah.
How much money would that cost?
A lot of money.
If it doesn't involve arresting somebody, like, we are it.
Yeah.
To figure out whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. And that could be like, I need you to help me change my filter in my furnace, or my kid's dead. Like,
Right.
and we're there to do it. And no questions asked.
We're expected to figure it out.
And we will figure it out, right? Like, we will. And I mean, that's a premium service. It really is. And I mean, I agree. The demand should be also on the other end, that you guys are damn good at your job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
and we will, and I feel like we are good at our job.
And we'd be even better if we had the time and energy to put into further bettering ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like your little Google, you know, like they started doing things a little differently, where people were like, what? They don't have schedules. They don't have due dates. They don't have this. Like, that sounds like stupid. They're going to be shitty. It was like, actually,
People want to work there.
they were way more efficient, and they did a
best
whole
people
lot
wanna
more, a
work
whole
there.
lot faster.
Yeah.
Why not have the same belief in the fire service?
Yeah. I agree.
I think we can. I think it's just a matter of time and research, because no department wants to be the first on some cutting edge new thing that's going to either make or break the city manager's position, or the mayor's position, or the city council's position. So they're going to wait till all the research is out, which I don't blame them. I'd probably be doing the same thing, honestly.
Yeah.
But once that research is out, I'm going to be really interested to see what comes of it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. It was awesome to hear your guys' stories about Idaho, everything you're doing, Drew, with your nonprofit. I'm really stoked for all of it, and it gives me a lot of hope for the future, because there's definitely many days that I question my career choice.
We all do
Every
at
day.
some point, right?
So, no, I appreciate it, and thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you,
for having
guys.
us.